Hey guys, Lisa Salvatore here recording a quick video to talk about this Mercury retrograde that we are currently in, and also the new moon that takes place on Saturday, February 23rd in the sign of Pisces. So Mercury retrograde began on February the 16th, but we have been feeling it probably about 7 to 10 days prior, depending on how sensitive you are. You will be feeling it already at that point because it was in its pre-shadow phase. And now Mercury is officially retrograde. It went retrograde on February the 16th and will in Pisces and will remain there until March 9th, okay? And ironically, March 9th is the full supermoon in Virgo, so that should be fun. So, just kidding, kind of. So with Mercury retrograde, I am not one of those astrologers or readers that will sit there and tell you that it's disastrous and oh my gosh, you better watch everything so closely and don't sign a contract and don't travel, because I don't believe that. I've done all of those things during Mercury retrograde with just a little bit more awareness. And yes, sometimes there have been some blunders, but overall, as long as you're conscious and aware and you know that this is potential, that this planet, the trickster planet, can really mess with us, he can, then you will know going into it, and it will be easier for you to not have any mishaps going on if you cross your T's and dot your I's, right? So Mercury is the fastest moving planet in the sky. It's closest to the sun. It's never far away from the sun, yada, yada, yada. What it basically means on the energetic spiritual level, when Mercury appears to go backwards, aka retrograde, he's not really going backwards. He just reverses his motion. It appears like he's going backwards. But what happens on the spiritual level, on the energetic level, is that the planet actually forces us to go inward. It's actually the time that you want to go inward and reevaluate everything, and then that way you can realign and reframe when Mercury stations direct on March 9th, around March 9th. So, because this is in the water sign of Pisces, okay? Pisces is the sign of the dreamer, the poet, the spiritual, the psychic world. It can be nebulous. It's ruled by planet Neptune, which is all about illusions and beauty on one level, but also can be disillusion, and then there's enchantment. So there's a whole lot with Pisces energy. We're in Pisces season. It's a beautiful time. It's a great time for creative work. It's a time you really want to pay attention to the inner world, because it's a very psychic time for everybody, and the more tapped in you are intuitively, the more you're going to feel that energy. So pay very close attention to it. You're not crazy if you're getting flashes of intuitive insight and inspiration. It's likely the Mercury retrograde, the Pisces, the sun is in Pisces, and then we have a new moon in Pisces coming up this weekend. So there's a lot going on, especially this week right now, that can really contribute to that intuitive feeling with the hunches and the impressions. But on the flip side of that, you don't want to be paranoid either, because sometimes with Mercury retrograde and Pisces energy especially, there could be some paranoia present. And not to make you more paranoid, but you don't always want to take everything at face value. You have to go by what you feel. So it's like someone tells you that you've got this job in the bag, it's coming, don't worry, and you're feeling like a tricky energy and you're not trusting it, and you normally do trust, but you're like, you know what, this doesn't feel right. Honor that, because clearly there must be something more to it. And because we're in the retrograde, you want to really pay attention to those feelings, because Mercury rules over communication, travel, and electronics, but especially the communication sector. So Mercury is also not only known as the messenger of the gods, but he's also known as a trickster in some ways. Not in a terribly bad way, but he can be. So you want to be very aware of what is coming in and out of your orbit during a Mercury retrograde. You probably want to hold off on big major decisions until you have all the facts, or if you feel very clear about it, then go ahead. But if there's any slight doubt, any of it, that you might be like going into a fantasy or this doesn't feel right, don't do it. Wait until the smoke clears when Mercury stations direct. And I would even say when we're out of Pisces season and we go into Aries season, because Pisces season can be nebulous. It's great, but it can be very, like I said, dreamy, right? So very important to mention about Mercury retrograde, that it is in Pisces from February 16th until March 4th. So this is the point in this retrograde where you're going to be feeling, and again, it's not the same for everyone. You want to look at your own birth chart. If you are someone that has a lot of Gemini and or Virgo in your birth chart, you will feel Mercury more, because Mercury rules those two signs. And if you're a Pisces, you're also going to be feeling this Mercury retrograde more because it's in your sign. So whether you're a moon in Pisces, sun in Pisces, whatever, anybody that's heavy water will feel it. So basically everyone's going to feel it, but it's going to be felt differently. So from the 16th of February until the 4th of March, Mercury's in retrograde in Pisces. A lot of things that are going to be coming up are going to be, again, dependent on your birth chart and which house Mercury retrograde is transiting. But overall, the themes are going to be centered around our communication in our relationships and how we put out our energy, right? And what are we doing to better ourselves? That's going to be like a deep introspective question that we're going to all be asking ourselves. And that's good, right? It's self-improvement. Why is that, why would that not be good? However, it's what you do with it and how you communicate that makes all the difference. Now, when Mercury, on March 4th, Mercury goes retrograde into Aquarius until March 9th, and it will finish up its retrograde cycle in the sign of Aquarius, okay? Now, from the 4th to the 9th, this is not something I've read about, or this is just my intuitive advice, okay? Because Aquarius rules over the internet. It rules over technology. Mercury rules over communication and electronics. So when Mercury is going from the dreamy waters of Pisces into the air sign of Aquarius, which also rules over the internet, and he's retrograde, those 5 days, 4th to the 9th, really back up your files, make sure your passwords are good, don't be drinking a cup of coffee next to your laptop because you're likely going to spill it and mess up your laptop. Those 5 days, in my intuitive opinion, are going to be where most of those retrograde things are felt, especially when it comes to technology. So just bear that in mind. You don't have to listen to me. I know a lot of you actually do, so I'm putting this here for you. But overall, I always say Mercury retrograde is really not that bad. Yes, things pop up. Yes, people come back into your life. Yes, things get revisited. Yes, it can be frustrating. But again, with a little bit of awareness and knowing that it's here and just giving yourself some extra time. I had a big travel delay. I had to move my flight by a whole entire day right at the beginning of the retrograde because of a weather disruption and flights being canceled and all that. I could have freaked out about it, but I didn't. I kind of anticipated that was a possibility. And as soon as I got issued the travel advisory, I changed the flight. Wasn't that big of a deal. I moved around what I had to make it work. It was not, and what am I going to do at that point? So you have to look at it from that perspective. Things happen. And under a retrograde, more likely. Now, we have a really nice new moon. Well, new moons are always nice because they're times of fresh intentions and beginnings and manifestation. It's when the sun and the moon are conjunct each other in the sky. They're harmonizing. It feels really good. Possibilities are on the table. This one feels especially sweet. I'm going to say sweet or use the word cute because we're under Pisces energy. Both the sun and the moon are in the sign of Pisces, right? And then on top of that, Mars and Uranus are making a trine. So there's a nice, there's a lot of good communication that could be happening around this time. If you want it, if you choose it, you're going to be feeling very honest, very open. But again, because Mercury's retrograde, you want to watch how you say things, that you don't offend anybody because people can tend to be more sensitive. But this new moon is a really nice one. It's a good time, as are all of them, to set intentions and plant seeds and make plans for what you want for your future, for your growth, right? So I'm going to just pull a quick card for the new moon. This time frame in general favors over heart-to-heart communication, like honesty, truth about situations, but again, sometimes the truth can sting or come out wrong. So you want to really be mindful of how you're saying things and not to be too shocking with your words. Okay. This is my Black Moon astrology deck, if anybody. I always laugh when this happens. I'm not looking at these when I shuffle them. Pisces, I believe, it's number 24, which is so funny because the new moon occurs on the 23rd of February in Pisces. Literally, look how many cards are in this deck, people. I love it. Anyway, so it's blue. I noticed the card is blue to me. That's like the throat chakra. So again, talking, communicating, speaking in a kind, sensitive way that helps, that your dreams are recognized. You see things differently. You're having like visions of what you want for your life and which way you want to go. Again, it's like you can really have whatever it is that you want. This is a similar message, I think. I actually got this in January when I did my full moon circle. But yeah, this is carrying over. This is like, I feel like January, February, and March are really the months of having the visions planted. Pisces season is great for that. So yeah, any kind of creative work you want to do, psychic work, spiritual work, this is the time to do it. If you want to have those conversations where you want to get the truth, this is the time to do it. So use this time wisely. Happy Mercury Retrograde, happy new moon, and I will be back with your March readings shortly. Take good care of yourselves. My links are below, lisasalvatore.com. I do private consultations. Make sure you tap the bell icon so that you're subscribed and get all my new content as it comes out. Take really good care of yourselves. Bye.